All right, welcome to The Explainer. If you're in the middle of planning a wedding, I'm sure you know the feeling. The stress is so real. Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest questions, but it's about way more than just pictures. We're talking about how much photography coverage you actually need. And believe it or not, the answer to that question is really the secret to building a wedding timeline that lets you, enjoy your own wedding.
So yeah, here it is, the big one. The question pretty much every couple wrestles with. But here's the thing. The answer isn't just a number, like 6, 8, or 10. No, it's the master key that literally dictates the entire vibe and flow of your wedding day.
And this right here is the #1 trap that so many couples fall into. You try to cram everything into a shorter, maybe more budget-friendly photography package, and suddenly your wedding day turns into this frantic race against the clock. But don't worry, we are absolutely gonna fix that today.
Okay, this quote from our source material, this is pure gold. This is the secret sauce. Notice it doesn't say if a wedding runs late. It says every wedding runs a bit late. So it's not a possibility, it's a certainty. And that means building in buffer time. Well, that's probably the single most important thing you can do to have a day that feels relaxed and joyful, not chaotic.
All right, section 1, the wedding timeline trap. So why do so many people fall into this trap? Well, it's simple, really. If you've never planned a massive event like a wedding before, it's almost impossible to guess how fast the day just evaporates.
So let's break down exactly where that stress comes from. You're trying to fit a 10-hour day into an 8-hour package. You just plain underestimate how long things take. And that butterfly effect, oh man, that one is a killer. It's where, say, hair and makeup runs just 15 minutes behind schedule. No big deal, right? Wrong. That tiny delay snowballs, and suddenly your portrait time is cut short, you're rushing to the ceremony, and the rest of the day is just you trying to play catch up. It's so easy for that to happen.
Okay, section 2, building your perfect day. Now the good news is you totally don't need to be a professional wedding planner to figure this out. All you need is a new way to think about your day.
And our source material, it gives us this fantastic little metaphor called wedding day bricks. So instead of looking at your wedding day as this huge, intimidating 12-hour block of time, think of it as a bunch of smaller, manageable pieces, or bricks. Getting ready, that's one brick. The ceremony, that's another brick. Dinner, that's a brick too. All you're doing is stacking these bricks together to build your day.
And to make it even easier, we can group all those little bricks into just 3 main phases. First, you've got the getting ready part. Then you have the main events, the ceremony, the photos, all that stuff. And finally, the celebration, which is the party. See? Suddenly, you've got a really clear, simple structure to build from.
Section 3, mapping out your schedule. Okay, so let's take this idea of bricks and phases and see what it looks like in the real world. This is where it all comes together.
Check this out. This is a sample 10-hour timeline that is designed to be stress-free. And look at the time allotments. 3 whole hours for preparation, no rushing. A full hour just for the couple's photos. But look closer. The real magic is right there at 3:30. Buffer relax time. That half hour is your secret weapon. It's a built-in safety net. So when something inevitably runs a little late, it doesn't matter. The buffer absorbs it, and you still get to your ceremony feeling totally calm and present.
All right, section 4, key timeline decisions. Now, obviously, every wedding is different. Your perfect timeline is going to hinge on a couple of really big decisions. Let's dig into the 2 most important ones.
First up, the big one, the first look. To see or not see before the ceremony. Now, just from a pure scheduling standpoint, doing a first look is a massive win. Why? Because you can get almost all of your couple and wedding party photos done before the ceremony, which means you actually get to go to your own cocktail hour. And I love this point from our source material. A lot of couples worry that a first look will steal the magic from the aisle moment, but it doesn't. They're 2 completely different feelings. One is this private, intimate wow, and the other is a big, public wow with all your loved ones. You get both.
Okay, next, let's talk family photos. Here's a pro tip. The longest part of family photos isn't clicking the camera, it's finding Uncle Bob. It's all about gathering the people. That's why the best time to do them is right after the ceremony, when everyone is literally in one place. And please, please make a super detailed list. Don't just write close family, that means something different to everyone. Write out every single person's name for each shot. And then, this is key, find that one relative who has a really powerful voice and put them in charge of wrangling everybody. Trust me, this will save you so much time and headache.
Okay, section 5, choosing your coverage hours. So we've talked about the traps, the bricks, the key decisions. Let's bring it all home and finally answer that big question we started with. How many hours do you really need? Let's start at the bottom, 6 hours. Look, Can it be done? Yes. But this is the absolute bare minimum. You're covering just the essentials and you have exactly zero room for things to go wrong. Something runs a few minutes late and you immediately start having to cut things. You're going to feel that pressure all day long. It's a real gamble.
Okay, what about 8 hours? This one feels a lot safer, right? And the source has a great way of putting it. It's almost enough in theory. In theory is the key phrase there. Because on paper, an 8-hour timeline looks perfect. But in the real world, it's packed to the gills. There's no wiggle room. So one little thing goes off track and the whole beautiful schedule starts to feel like a wobbly house of cards.
And that brings us to 10 hours. This is what our source points to as the real sweet spot for most couples. And here's why. The goal isn't just about getting more pictures. It's about buying yourselves more time. 10 hours is what gives you that space to breathe, to relax, to actually be present and soak in your own wedding day. It lets you build in that buffer we talked about, which is what transforms a schedule from stressful to celebratory.
So when it all comes down to it, your timeline is so much more than just a schedule for your photographer. It's literally the blueprint for how you will experience your wedding day. It's the thing that will decide if you remember feeling rushed and stressed, or if you remember feeling relaxed, joyful, and totally present. So the real question to ask yourselves isn't how many hours should we book, it's what kind of day do we want to remember?